The streaming, I can see the file here. So now let's begin with the news first. Right, so Tuesday, the important thing was the Aussie gas rate. It remained at 2%. So the other thing was the pound manufacturing production. It's bad for pound. There's Euro summit going on. Canadian trade balance minus, so that's bad for Canadian. US trade balance, it's alright. And that's important for the news economic calendar for today. Tomorrow, what's coming up is the Eurogroup is still going on. There's an annual budget release for pound. For Canadian, there's a building permits. Oh, and most importantly, there's going to be a FOMC meeting minutes released at 7 PM London time. Now let's look at the news. In the currency news in Financial Times, if you see the latest one, there was nothing to be worried about. You see straight away Aussie and Kiwi dollars are down because of China. China's stock market is crashing. Dollar rise threatens US, so the dollar Fed rate rise may not happen this year. Dollar bullish news, bond yields dive. So people are looking for safety, safe havens or safe assets. Currency skirmishes, competitive devaluations, which means, for example, China has reduced interest rate, so that is a form of currency devaluations. Otherwise, there's nothing to be worried about the currency news as far as the currency section in Financial Times is concerned. So this is the new guy, Greece new finance minister after Yanis Varoufakis resigned. You see a smiling face of Janet Yellen. Now let's look at the home page. Nothing to worry about in the banking fast news. Again, news about Greece. The stock market trading in China is halted because of the crash. The news about Greece. François Hollande, the French Prime Minister, is standing for Greece. There's one news about Forex crossfire currencies skirmishes turn into battles. So as of now, euro is inflationary because of the QE. Dollar, if there's a rate rise sometime this year or next year, it's going to increase, strengthen. This news is something to look out for. While oil prices have tumbled, there was one news about the Libor trial. Yes, it's interesting. Even though there's a Greek crisis going on, the price of gold, this is gold bullion, the price of gold doesn't seem to have increased. Otherwise, it's alright. So the dollar rise in the currency section. Now this could be important news because of the talks between Iran and US. If these talks succeed, then there could be more trades with Iran, and there could be more supply of oil from Iran. As similar news here again. That's all from the Financial Times. Now let's look at Bloomberg. News about it's interesting to note all the stock markets, they seem to have fallen down today by 1%, 2%. Not the price of crude, $56. News about the euro and Greece, the new finance minister. This was an interesting news. London hedge fund lost almost £750 million in a scam. European stocks are rebounding. See again here the Chinese stock market crash. There's freeze of trading. Another one here. So job openings in US rose, which is good news for US dollar. Commodity prices are tumbling. Iron ore is below £50. Same thing with oil, for example. It's in the bear market. Another interesting one, Norway's krone dropped to 6-month low on damp oil because Norway is oil producing country or oil commodity dependent economy. So if the oil price goes down, the currency of that country will go down as well. German industrial output unchanged. This is good for euro in Germany. The crash in Chinese market in the mainland in Shanghai seems to be flowing to Hong Kong as well. Picture from yesterday's referendum or Sunday's referendum in Greece. News about Greek crisis again. The Greek banks were closed last week. It looks like this week the stock market is closed for 2 more days. So today is Tuesday, so it'll be closed for Wednesday and Thursday. Another interesting news. Even though there's crisis in Greece, it doesn't seem to be a contagious one in the neighboring countries. Looks like this is one of the radio stations that backed the Yes campaign. Osborne seems to be coming out with a new budget. This is the guy, the ex-UBS trader who was in the trial for the LIBOR rate rigging. Now this is an interesting one for pound. Because of the crisis in Greece, the chances of the rate rise by Bank of England is less. Another one, Australia Aussie dollar could be falling down because the exports are narrowing down. We mentioned about this where gold is not appreciating in spite of the crisis in Greece. This is another one for ECB. So ECB is willing to provide the liquidity assistance, but it seems like it's not completely on a free give out, so it's reluctant slightly, it seems. Another one, The Reserve Bank of Australia has kept the cash rate at 2%, and it looks like because of the Greece crisis, the Aussie dollar has fallen down. Again, here again, Aussie slides to 6-year low as the price of iron drops down, and also because of the Greek crisis. This is interesting one, another one, because even though the crisis in Greece is still there, the stocks in Japan are raising, so it's not having a very dire consequences or effect. Now let's take a look at the markets in general. Another news is the Chinese equity market fall. News of the euro and Greece. And same news about the crisis in Greece not spreading out. Interesting news about the Greek finance minister handwritten notes. Another one on the Chinese stock exchange, because even though the Chinese government is pouring in money to support the stock market, foreigners or foreign investors seems to be exiting the market to sell off. Another comment on the Chinese stock markets. A good quote from Yanis Varoufakis: "I shall wear the creditors gloating with pride." Another one, the commodities sell-off, iron sell-off, oil sell-off, Chinese stock market crash. Comment from El Irian, the Bond King from PIMCO. And that's all from the news, it seems. Now let's take a look at the currencies technicals. Euro dollar has fallen today. Pound dollar has fallen today. This may be to do with the pound manufacturing production being down. That's bad for the currency. And it has fallen below the 200 EMA and 50 EMA, so let's see how it does tomorrow. And now bear in mind that it could bounce up again from the 20 EMA up again. Dollar yen, it seems to be doing a phase 2, but it's not sure where it's heading, up or down. So we'll have to wait and watch. Dollar Canadian, it is going up. Bear in mind the price of oil is falling down. So Canadian dollar being a commodity oil dependent economy, as the price of oil goes down, the currency will weaken. Aussie dollar, as we saw, it has fallen down because of the drop in the commodity iron price and the slack in Chinese growth. Aussie dollar is hugely dependent on Chinese consumption. Normally, when a country keeps its interest rates the same, the currency tends to appreciate, but in this case it has depreciated because of one thing: the commodity price crashes and the Greek crisis. Kiwi dollar has also fallen down from yesterday. Same thing we saw in the news, that Kiwi and Aussie are dependent on the Chinese market. Euro yen has fallen down below the 200 EMA and below the 50 EMA, 5 and 20, so it seems to be in a downtrend now. It could reach the 200 EMA again, at least. Let's see. Pound yen has broken through the 50 EMA, so it could fall down and reach the 200 EMA. Euro Canadian hasn't moved much from yesterday, but Euro fell down today. Canadian weakened, so because both Euro and Canadian weakened, there's not much impact. Pound Canadian is around the same price as well, because today pound weakened and Canadian weakened as well, so the pound Canadian pair didn't move. Similar explanation can be made for Euro Aussie and I think for Pound Aussie as well, because today all the three currencies depreciated, so the cross currency of Euro and Pound and Aussie wouldn't have changed much. Now let's look at the Nikkei. Around 20,000 something, has fallen down a bit, but important thing is to note the long-term trend. And S&P 500, it's stagnating between the 200 EMA and 50 EMA. So let's see how this plays out. Well, maybe there's some correction or it's about to begin a downtrend. UK 100 FTSE is down around 6,500. It's in a downtrend, but in the weekly it's between 250, so it could try to touch 200 EMA. The dollar index is appreciating. So that's good for dollar. In the weekly as well. And US crude oil is, today it didn't decrease much from yesterday, but generally is in a bear market now. It's bearish now. In the Brent, which is also UK oil, it didn't change much from yesterday, so it could have some correction and then fall back again. And lastly, gold. It's around $1150 per ounce. It has been stagnating. We saw in the news that in spite of all the crisis going on, gold is not moving much. You see, it's almost like in a band. So that should be it.